Yo, Wagwan people. Using Grindr in West Africa, or in Africa in general, but specifically West Africa, has to be one of the most interesting things in this part of the world. First of all, Chad, first of all, I would just say this from a place of love. I do not recommend that you use Grindr in Africa, okay? Especially in West Africa, most especially in Nigeria. I do not recommend it at all for your own safety, okay? I don't even recommend you use any gay apps at all. Okay, just take matters into your own hands, Chad. Literally, take matters into your own hands and do your business and just go home to where you came from, because it's not safe. It is not safe at all. There's something called Kito. Okay, Kito, Kito. Look it up on Google. Essentially, this is where some people pose to be gay. Sometimes some of these people are gay, actually. They pose to be interested in you in these apps, specifically, more specifically, Grinder, and they lure you in to their homes and things like that, and they take advantage of you, and it can get quite dark. I'm trying to be careful with my words here, because these algorithms don't like when I talk about certain things, Chad. And I have heard all kinds of horror stories, okay? And not just the things that I see online. There's a whole documentary on BBC, I believe. But I also do know people in my own personal lives who have been through this whole keto thing. They've been ketoed, like they say, okay? So do not do it, okay? Do not resist the temptation, okay? If Mother Nature calls down there, child, take matters into your own hands, literally, and move the hell on. Because in this part of the world, if you fuck around, you might just find out. And that's also literal, okay? So do not, for your own safety, use Grinder, Jacked, and any of these dating apps, including straight people too, Chad. Like, stay the hell away from these apps, but especially Grinder. I know some people are saying something about Tinder. Tinder is relatively safer. That's what they're saying, but I would not recommend anything at all. Okay, so that's one. Secondly, using Grinder in West Africa is so interesting to me. Like, to me at this point, it's just comedy. I've never really been one to take Grinder serious. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to flex or anything like that. I'm just being honest. I don't need Grinder. Okay, I don't. I'm just literally on the app because the app exists. It's entertainment for me at this point. Okay, but it's so interesting. If you know, you know. First of all, second of all, also, I think that Grinder in West Africa is so different from Grindr in America. One of the major differences that I've noticed is using Grindr in America. There's so much ads. It's ridiculous, bro. Like, you open the app, ads, and the apps are so annoying. Like, every single time you message someone, ad. Someone messages you, ad. There's ad. It's so annoying. The ads be so long that it might be just more convenient for you to just shut the app down and restart again. But here, there's no ads. It's interesting. There's no ads, none, zero. Like, being here, zero ads. And I'm confused. Like, is this the same company? You can use Grinder all day. Open, close, do whatever you want. Zero ads. It's mind blowing. Like, being in America and dealing with ads, and I'm just noticing it now. I don't know if I had not noticed it enough to see if this was the case in Europe or in other parts of the world. But I know that there are no ads here. That's one. Secondly, these catfishes. Okay, the pictures here are not real. Okay, if you are in West Africa and you go on Grindr and you see all these pictures, fine ass men, Chad, tall, dark, handsome, light skin, brown skin, muscles, six packs, that's catfish. That's not what the people really look like. And I do understand part of this, for security reasons, safety, and things like that. People who live in the West enjoy the privilege of living in countries that they have rights, privileges, and things like that, where you can be gay, bisexual, questioning, bi-curious, and all those things that no one would really, I mean, there's still some type of shame culture, but some type of homophobia, because human is human. But at the same time, too, it's not as serious compared to here, where people's lives could literally be in danger. So I understand a lot of those pictures are not real, okay? But the thing is that these people will use pictures that are so different from what they look like in person. Like, when you ask them to send picture, they send something like the picture you sent. You don't even look related to the picture that you have on your DP. Like, you're from a whole different clan. It doesn't make any sense to me. Like, yo, you be having these people be having Denzel Washington on their DP, but then when they send the picture, they look like Denzel Washington's cousin from a whole different planet. Like, there's no resemblance whatsoever. Like, the catfish is on point. Like, For real, for real. And if you're not used to this, you can easily get confused and thinking that this is what the people actually literally look like on the app. No, that's not what they look like. And then also, a lot of times when you demand pictures, of course, because I want to see who I'm talking to. Of course, you want to see who you're talking to. They send you the disappearing pictures, which is so fucking annoying. My memory is just so short. Okay, like after two and a half business seconds, I don't forget what you look like. Okay, because what the fuck I'm not gonna do is try to take screenshots of it's memory screenshots of what you look like in my head, because you're not the only one who's messaging, you're not the only one that I'm dealing with, you're not the only one I'm seeing on this app, like I'm not trying to remember everybody, okay, especially considering the fact that most of, like 99.9% of these conversations on these apps go nowhere, okay, because I mostly paid dusk chat, because it's a whole different culture as well, different mentality, just different from what I'm used to, okay, people come at you different, and if I wasn't African, I could easily consider this as rude or whatever the situation is, but I understand that this is a whole different culture, whole different country, whole different privilege and things like that, so I understand it. But it's still very comical to me. It's very comical. Like being on these apps in Africa, it's like, wow, it's a whole different world. Like it's again, it's still entertainment to me, but it's still interesting nonetheless. Grinder in this part of the world is different. It just is different. Just know that if you are in Africa, okay, and you're chatting with somebody who you think is very, very sexy, you'd be surprised how they're not even genetically related when you meet them in person. And also, if you're going to meet somebody in person, and again, like I said, I don't recommend it. But if you want to, if you really believe that you're about that life, okay, because again, you might just fuck around and find out. Always make sure to meet them in a public space, okay? Always, like like an equivalent of a Starbucks or a coffee place with cameras and public places and things like that, because you might just be set up, okay? This is very common out here, okay? And it breaks my heart when I hear these kind of stories. Usually they're common with the younger people, like I don't think I've heard anything with people in their 30s and 40s and 50s and things like that. At that age, Chad, if you're in your 40s and you're still getting keto, no shade, but Chad, like what the fuck, okay? But it's usually people in their 20s, early 20s, like 19, 20, 21, 22, because they're very naive. This breaks my heart because this goes back to why I do what I do. There's so much misinformation, so much misunderstanding, so much lack of knowledge and lack of education within this illusory community. And I know the straight people are oblivious of it, and they're not teaching anyone. They're not there's no education on how the real world works. A lot of us come from broken families. Our parents don't know shit about. A lot of our parents are consumed by pain. Kafokore, to now come and be educating us how the gay world works. So it's up to us to do it. And a lot of people, the way a lot of young people find out about how the world works, especially within the illusory community, is by fucking around and finding out. And sometimes this can leave permanent scars in so many different ways. I'm not just talking about keto, including STDs, getting HIV at a really young age. I forgot someone that I was talking to. He mentioned that there was this kid. I think he was 18 or 19 years old or whatever it is. He had sex for the very first time and he got HIV in the very first time. That broke my heart. It shouldn't have to be like that. Okay. So this is why I do what I do. Okay. I know some people try to drag me and talk all kinds of shit as to why I do what I do, but put yourself in those people's shoes. I am truly blessed. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but I feel like I have this cocoon of not just privilege, but like blessing around me. I've always felt it all my life, but I see the older I've gotten, the more obvious it is. Like there's this cocoon of presence around me that I feel protected at all times. That sometimes when I look back at some of the things that I've done in my life, how that could have easily gone left, easily gone left. But there's this thing there, this grace of God, if you want to call it that, or grace of Christ, if you want to call it that, that's always there to protect me. Like this has to be God. This has to be God, and this has to be a gift. And you know what they say: to whom much is given, much is expected. This is in part why I do what I do. So yeah, I can try to shame me all you want, bitch. You can't shame the shameless, because you know what I'm saying. My name is Uche Chuku, Uche Chuku Aburu Uche Madu. Anyway, Chad. Whew, Chad, let me stop. Be careful using Grindr in Africa. Be careful because you might just enter one chance. Uche, peace and love. Uche.